So, good morning, everybody. And the weekday, even though you are so busy, even the weekend, you are still busy, but you try to come to the center to know about Dharma, to learn about Dharma, which is, I think, very great, idea to learn Dharma. Usually I mention, and in this moment, how many sentient beings exist on the planet? The countless. Even though we really don't know exactly how many human beings exist on the planet. 6 or 7 billion. So within the 7 billions, how many people interested in religion? Maybe 50 or 60% within the 7 billion. So within the 70 or 60%, even in Singapore, I think you got 70% who believe in religion, and the rest, like 40%, 30% they don't believe in religion. So within the Singapore, the people who believe in religion, so we have a Buddhist who believe in Buddhism, so we have a Christian who believe in Christianity, we have a Muslim who believe in Islamic, also we have another Chinese group who believe in Taoism, and also there's some other religion. So the people who come in this class, I suppose, I guess you are believe in Buddhism. Not only just believe, I think you have a really strong interested in Buddhism. So I usually mention, before you practice religion, before you practice Buddhism, you must know. So what is the purpose of practicing Buddhism? What I'm really looking, so attending this class, attending another class, attending another teaching, events, whatever, sometimes you go for the free liberation, sometimes you go for helping some other people. So before you do the kind of job, before you involve with any activities, you really must know what I'm going to get, what's my motivation to do this thing. And then if you know, this is my achievement, this is my goal, which I want to achieve, or this is my motivation, you must check your motivation. So always, when you involve or when you attend Dharma class, when you attend like a teaching, so from any people, any religious people, you must have a very kind of the pure motivation. And you shouldn't think, I'm going to go to attend this class, this teaching, this event, just for, as I enjoy for a short moment. You should think, I'm going to attend this class, this teaching, that class, that teaching, that event, fish liberation, in order to achieve, in order to, attend, Buddhahood or, Buddha state. Then you have a very clear goal. So in order to achieve the enlightenment or the Buddhahood, then you need the motivation. So between the motivation and the goal, the achievement, there's a order how to reach. And we Buddhists, we don't just simply believe, I'm going to attend Nirvana, Buddhahood, just simply do some chanting, praying, doing little activity here and there. We have to put a lot of effort. As a Buddhist, of course, everybody wish to achieve Buddhahood. Everybody wish to, go to the Pure Land. So we cannot. There's no way we can go to the pure land. We can go to the Buddha land by like a special shelter, like by car, by train. No. So we have to go through your own practice. Also we believed, we truly believe in a Buddha Shakyamuni. He fully attained enlightenment. He is, we can say, he's a Buddha. We say is, like Buddha is alive in this moment. He's a Buddha. He have all power to give a teaching. He gained full of power to give a teaching. But he doesn't have a kind of power. He can bring you to Buddha state from samsara. If this is the case, of course, Buddha already took all sentient beings from samsara to Buddhahood, samsara to Buddha land. That's why Buddha said very clearly, I cannot transform my the practice which I gain. I cannot transform, my the practice which I gain, the quality to you. I cannot clean your the negative emotion by pouring water, giving some blessing. You must overcome all the negative developments or the negative emotions or the problem. You must just overcome all the problem due to understand the reality, due to understand the nature of all phenomena. It's very clear, if you want to achieve Buddhahood, if you want to achieve Nirvana, first you have to overcome all the negative emotion. In order to overcome, in order to reduce all the negative emotion, the important one, you have to overcome from the ignorance. Because ignorance is the root. Is the main cause of the negative emotions. All the negative emotions give up suffering. Also, it gives suffering for others. As a Buddhist, we should think the ignorance is our main enemy. And all the negative emotion also my main enemy, right? Main enemy. Very important enemy. I must challenge with all the negative emotion. If you are able to challenge it, if you are able to fight with the negative emotions, then you are able to fight with the negative ignorance. If you are able to fight, if you are able to overcome the ignorance, then Nirvana, the Buddhahood, the pure land is not so far. If you are not able to understand the ignorance, if you are not able to understand the nature of ignorance, then it's so difficult to understand the reality, the emptiness. Because the Heart Sutara says, everything is emptiness, empty. So as a Buddhist, we should think all the negative emotions, including ignorance, are my enemy because it had been giving problem for me in the past, and the person in the future. My enemy, the Buddhahood, and the Buddha state of the Buddha is my achievement, my goal. So we have a really great objective, right? Objective or a very great goal. We are very simple human being, but we have a really great goal. So you must know this is my goal, this is my enemy. I have to destroy, or I have to eliminate all the negative emotion due to through my own practice. So it's clear, right? Your object, your motivation, your trust, your job. And the last time, the last class, I talked about a little bit the background of general religion. Second, I talked another quite most advanced religion. And the third number, I talked a little bit about how Buddhism flourished to India, from India to all over the world, from India to Sri Lanka, then Thailand, then Burma, then Vietnam, and Cambodia, and Laos. Secondly, the Buddhism flourished from India, especially from Nalanda to China. And China from China, then I think Japan and Korea, a little bit, maybe of course in Vietnam. Because Vietnam was controlled by Chinese, I don't know which, the king, almost 1,000 years. So let's look at Buddhism flourished from India to Sri Lanka, then Thailand, Burma, Laos, from China, Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, maybe other part next to China. And thirdly, the Buddhism flourished also from the Nalanda. The Kamalashila. So one of the king, he invited King Kamalashila from Nalanda to Tibet. Then he started Buddhism in Tibet, then Mongolia, as well as Russia, and also other part of Himalayan region. And number 4, Buddhism flourished from Kamalashila, from Srinagar, then Pakistan, then Afghanistan, and Iraq and Iran. And I think then most of the Islam start, I think, not more than 700 years, right?
1,007, 1,500, 1,500 years ago.
No. Because Islamic come after Christianity, first Judaism, then Christianity, then Islamic. So anyway, this is kind of the history of Buddhism. And look at the name of the Buddhism come from Buddha. Buddha, right? Buddha Shakyamuni. Shakyamuni, Shakya is his clan name. The Buddha is the name when he attended enlightenment. Look at there's 2 words. Buddha. And in Tibetan we translate Sang, Ge. The Sang is the Buddha. Buddha is the Ge. Bud means the awakening. If you were deep sleep, when you awake, then you are able to see everything is very clearly. So when Buddha attained enlightenment, he eliminated all the negative emotions, and then he totally awake. There's no more any distorted emotions and thoughts, and nothing. Then Da, Je is like a. So when he fully attained Buddhahood, he totally fully developed all the good qualities. We give example is lotus flowers. When the lotus flower blossom in the water, look at it. It's fully blossom, it's so beautiful. Even the lotus flower grows in the muddy water. Even the water is so dirty, not really clean. Look at the flower, it's so beautiful, so nice, and it's very nice smell. Buddha Shakyamuni, he was born in India with the clan family. So he was born in samsara, but through his own practice, own effort. So finally he attained nirvana, Buddha. And also we shouldn't think, the Siddhartha, he's son of the king, he's maybe a special person, he's a very unique one. I don't like this. I don't think I like him, similar him. So we and him is same. First he was a simple boy, and he got a lot of questions, why we have suffering, why we have a problem. He got a lot of questions. He asked many questions to many master, many scholar. Finally he got the answer. Then he practiced 6-7 years. then he achieved Buddhahood. Why not we? When you see someone is very famous, someone is very successful person, you shouldn't think, I can't be like him because he's different than me. You shouldn't think this way. You should think, yes, Buddha Shakyamuni attained Buddhahood. Why not me? We have a potential, we have an ability. One thing is very unique in Buddhism, there's not any differences between male and female. Everybody has a potential of Buddha. If you put enough effort, if you give enough time for the practicing, both male and female, rich and poor, ugly and beautiful, everybody is going to achieve Buddhahood. This is very unique in Buddhism. It's not we just saying, in practical way, it is 100% very possible. Look at male and female, physically little, male is little stronger than female physically. If you compare little bit, not much different. Think about the emotionally. Female got anger, male got anger, attachments. We have equal emotions. And we have equal methods for male and female. Why not, man can get achievement, why not female? If you look at in history, many nuns, even though they live like a woman, they become a monks and nuns, they got ordination, and finally they achieve Buddhahood. We should think always this way. Okay, let's say the Buddha is two way, two words. And also we use, I practice in Buddhism. Also we say, I practice Dharma. So, the meaning of religion, the meaning of Dharma is big different. Not in the equal words. Look at religion, when we say the religion means, you have to believe someone has like a superpower, like a God, like a Allah, like a Hindu say, Bhagavan. They believe there's a particular person who got all power, which is he, the man or the God can create the worlds, the universal. And secondly, they made sentient being and human being. This means your happiness, your suffering, your problems, your pleasure, everything depends to the God, the Allah, the Bhagavan. So that means they put everything depends on other. Then this means you have to believe this kind of being who have a superpower. Just believe and just trust and just have a faith. This is the religion. So Dharma, the Buddhism is not really religion. Because it is a Dharma. Dharma, like we translate in Tibetan language. So in China, you translate far, right? Far one, And what does mean far in Chinese language? The meaning of far, far, right? What does the meaning? Far. Huh? Way. Yeah, way. Look at. So when Buddha teaching translated into Tibetan language, they met a lot of new, words, same meaning as Sanskrit. Sometimes they're not able to translate same meaning in Tibetan. They still use the Sanskrit name, Sanskrit words. Also in Chinese too. So when the translator, the great translators, when they translate Buddhism into Tibet, they translate Dharma like a Che. Dharma translate into Che. Look at Che means like two meanings. One, all phenomena, has their own nature, own own nature, and they hold their own characteristic. They has their unique characteristic. If you compare two things, you never ever find the two things exactly always 100% same. Never ever. Do you think?
Well, quantum physics, there's another theories that
Yes, quantum physics.
yeah.
Even though the size is same, the color is maybe same, think about the substance. Think about the continuum of the two things. If you go furthermore, then further you can find the two things exactly same size, same color, but the primary cause is different. Even though the wedge is same, but the content is different. That's why all phenomena has their unique characteristic, very unique, so difficult to understand. If the truth is always actually 100% same, then the result must be same.
Yeah, yes and no. In response to your question just now, no two things is 100% the same. That is by far the final statements, because the substance that make this one cannot make the other one, so they are already different.
Difference.
Yeah.
So that's why so that's why the dharma means there's two meanings. One is all phenomena has their unique characteristic, unique ability. Second, dharma is like a change, transform, change or transform, or shape. That means when you say I'm studying dharma, I'm practicing dharma, that means you are saying I'm transforming my mind, I'm changing my mind from in the better way. Or transforming my positive minds in better way, transform or changing. If you don't change, if you don't have a lot of the better changes in your mind, that means you don't have a better practice of Buddhism. Dharma means like changes in your mind, transforming your mind. Then look at the meditation. When you hear somebody say, oh, I do meditation, I always do meditation, that means you must know, oh, the person always try to transform their mind, changing their mind, controlling their mind. You shouldn't think I'm doing meditation, you shouldn't think, oh, he or she just sits somewhere and just close their eyes, look like, have stayed like a deep sleep. You should think, oh, they're working so hard, transforming something, dharma. So why we have to transform our mind, we have to change our mind. For example, everybody really want to go to the particular cinema. Cinema is two meanings, one is a hall, one is a film, cinema hall. So if somebody told that the movie is so nice, so great, you must go. So everybody are so busy, but we really want to go to see the movie. So one hand, we are so busy, we don't have a time. On the other hand, we really want to go. So that moment, you are kind of facing some problems. So what you have to do, or you have to leave the basic job, work, or you have to forget to go into the movie. Because you have to change the mind. So you think, oh, I cannot go because I'm so busy. Just forget the, thinking about movie, just change your mind. Then you are more happy. Transform. Same as when you get angry with your family, your friends, brother, sister, husband, wife, when you get angry, that moment, everybody understand, yes, I am not happy. he's not happy, she's not happy, everybody not happy. Everybody know we are not happy. So what we have to do? So we have to change the angry, right? We have to forget the angry, we have to change the mind. Then there's no more angry, no more anger. There's no matter if we don't have anger, we don't have to be angry. Then there's a peaceful, there's a calm mind. So Buddhism not nothing more and less transforming your mind and changing your mind in the better way. So that's like a dharma. Dharma. And also you shouldn't think, yes, even the many monks said, oh, I don't think I can totally follow the Buddha Dharma. I don't think I'm totally able to follow the rules and regulations of monks and nuns. Many monks said, my friend has been saying this thing. Let's look and say, we are in the 21st century. The world is so small, everybody is so busy. The people who live around us so busy. Where we go, the circumstances is really bother to us. They say, I cannot follow the rule and regulation. That means they just blaming the circumstances, they're blaming the time and the situation. Also, you shouldn't think, oh, I'm a lay person, I have a family, I have a job, I have to look after my family, I have to go to my work, I have to earn money, I don't think I can practice Buddhism. You shouldn't think, that's when you are putting yourself in discourage, right? Discourage yourself. You should think, yes, I know I'm a lay person, I have a family, I have to look after my family, my parents, my brother and sister. Also, I have to go to my job, I have to earn my money, but you shouldn't, I still can do. Because think about within 24 hours, how many hours we sleep? Most people 8 hours. We just reduce 2 hours. Sleep 5 hours, 2 hours practice. Yes, away. The second, let's say, just forget you just sleep 10 hours, how many hours left? And from the 12.
8 hours, then you have 16 hours.
16 hours, within the 16 hours you have to go for a job, how many hours?
8 hours plus commuting 10 hours. So
We have a 6 hours, 6 hours. Within the 6 hours, what do you do? Checking the phone, calling and checking message and WeChat, hi, hello, how are you? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you eating? Just. Even I can see in the train and the MRT, everybody's so busy. You can reduce the time from the chatting and email and things. If it's important, of course you have to respond. If it's important, you must communicate. Sometimes even though I use email, WeChat, Facebook, everything, but I always have a time. There's a time for WeChat, there's a time for email. When I look at the WeChat, nothing important. Hi Geshe, where are you? What are you doing? What are you eating? That's it. So I have to respond, right? If I don't respond, they thought, it's very not nice, no respond. So you can have a lot of time. Also, someday you go for holiday. Instead of going to a holiday, you just stay in your home as a retreat. Then you have a good rest. Then you have a good practice. Then you don't going to waste, not going to spend a lot of money. That's a way you can really enjoy your home with the Buddha, with the practice of Dharma. So there's a lot of time. So now you must know, I have an ability, I have a time, I have a desire for practice Dharma, I must do. The first question, how I can do practice, how? Right? Because if you want to choose the practice, based on Buddhism, look at, we have a Theravada Buddhism. We have a Mahayana Buddhism. Within the Mahayana, we have like a Chinese Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, so many. Then you really difficult to find which religion which Buddhism is good for me. And also, you shouldn't have a confusion, because look at, when you hear or Chinese Buddhism, when you just hear, you have a kind of expression. Or Chinese Buddhism look like there's a big temple with the monks and nuns dressed like a black colors or like a kind of gray colors or yellow color. And when you say practicing Dharma, you should think they're chanting in the temple using some kind of drum and cymbal, right? When you hear, oh, Tibetan Buddhism, oh, you just think, oh, there's monks and nuns also playing the drum and music and doing ritual and prayer things. And also, when you hear of Thai Buddhism, you just almost you can explain, oh, the monks and nuns dressed with a yellow robe, go in the village, making food and stay somewhere. If you look the fundamental, the basic idea about Mahayan Buddhism, not much difference between Tibetan Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, Korean, not much. Everybody, all the traditional, all the Buddhist tradition, they carry the basic of the teaching. The practice almost same, not much different. So it doesn't matter, you can follow Tibetan Buddhism, you can follow Chinese Buddhism, you can follow Theravada Buddhism, or whatever, you can follow whatever you wish to follow. The first important, what you must know, the foundation of Buddhism, the basic, the foundation, the principal one. The principal or the most important one, the Four Noble Truths. It's the foundation. Because when Buddha gave a teaching first time, he taught about Four Noble Truths. All the Buddhist practice must include in the practice of Four Noble Truths. There's nothing more than less rather than the practice of Four Noble Truths. Look at when we talk about all the negative emotion and ignorance, must include into cause of the suffering. When we talk about suffering and problem, physical problem, we must include into the dukkha, the suffering. Also, when we talk about all the practice, bodhicitta, understanding emptiness, and eight unfold Arya paths, and dwelling and dependence, everything we must include into practice of path to enlightenment. And also, you can hear so many stories of Buddha. Those is the kind of result of practice of path. There's nothing more than practice of Buddha, Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths is so important. So today I talk a little bit about the Four Noble Truths. First, what does mean noble? Second, what does mean truth? Noble truth. There's one meaning I can tell you. If somebody tell you, now I think for us a little easy to understand all the conditioned phenomena. All the conditioned phenomena are, impermanent. It's changing constantly. It's changing very quickly. Now it's very easy to understand. Because we got a lot of equipment. There are so many different ways you can do the experiment. In the past, so difficult because the people who have an ability to make an analysis, they keep thinking again and again, about the impermanent changing constantly, not just this way, very fast way. So difficult. They have to just think again. Now you can see through microscope or another equipment. You can see things changing very constantly. Especially if you want to study about quantum physics, for you so easy to understand. Things are impermanent. It's changing moment by moment. In the past, so difficult. That's why we said noble. Noble, the person who reach high level of practice. We call the person as noble. Then we can say truth. It is not really truth for the general person because they don't understand. It is really truth. truth, the people who reach, the Arya level, noble truth. Okay? So, it is look like, I really want to really sorry to say, because the situation about Tibet, the situation about Tibet is really truth for the Tibetan. It's not really truth for the Chinese. Because two people have a different truth idea, perception. So, as somebody said, things are impermanent, it's changing constantly. So, I don't think it's truth for the general people. They don't believe it. It's really true for the noble person. It's called noble truth. Four. I think everybody heard 100 times. So what are they? The first one, dukkha, or somebody who is suffering, and then somebody who's suffering. Somebody don't like to use suffering.
Yeah.
They use dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. But anyway, I think the best way we can use dukkha. The second, the cause of dukkha. Cause, right? There is dukkha, and cause of dukkha is one part. We call this side of the samsaric side, or it is the kind of the
result.
People true side. The one is the samsaric side, one is for the nirvana side. The dukkha and cause of the dukkha is the samsaric side. Then, path to enlightenment. The path and enlightenment, or the cessation. The cessation and the cause of cessation, we said, these are like the nirvana side. This is true good. So we are in the samsara. We don't know, how long we've been in the samsara, because we always go through the true cause. Dukkha and cause, dukkha and cause, dukkha and cause. As we are totally circling in the samsara. So if you wish to, break out the samsara, if you really wish to come over from samsara, then you have to practice the path. True cessation. That is true way, true group. Dukkha and cause of dukkha, cessation and path to cessation. So path and the cessation are our practice. Also, you must understand the dukkha, and you must, reduce, eliminate. You must cease the cause of dukkha. So, if you're not able to cease, if you're not really interested to cease the cause of dukkha, even though you really wish to be happy, you really wish to achieve, kind of ultimate happiness, but you cannot achieve, you're not going to achieve, because you're not able to cease, you're not able to reduce, eliminate. Right? For example, it's very easy. If you turn on the AC, maybe 25 to 19, it's like a 15, you feel so cold, right? You feel so cold. You are not really uncomfortable in this hall, because the AC is so strong, so cold. Now you must know, yes, I'm facing kind of physical suffering, which is so cold. Then you must know where this, the cold, feeling of cold come from. Why I'm so cold here? Then you think, oh, icon. The icon is the cause of the unhappiness, or the suffering. What you need to do, you have to reduce the icon, the power of icon. Then finally you just turn off the normal, like a air cold. Then after a few days you feel, oh, so nice. Same. So, the problem, what we physical or mental problem we are facing now, they have a cause. They have a condition. What are they? negative emotions, ignorance. First, you have to reduce the negative emotion. Finally, you have to eliminate the negative emotions, the ignorance. This one, look, is very practical. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Also, so in order to reduce the cause of dukkha, first, I think three practices are very important. The first practice of shila. Moral conduct is so important. It's kind of basis. It's kind of land.
Foundation.
The foundation. If you wish to grow a good mango tree, good mango, you have to find good land. If the land is no good, even you put a lot of good soil, like a soil, watering, good soil, good seeds, I don't think you can going to go good mango tree. If you don't have a good mango tree, I don't think then you can have a good mango, right? So the land is so important in order to grow the mango tree and mango. In order to practice mindfulness, the wisdom, first it's so important to practice the moral, so important to practice shila. Shila is like land, the good land. Why? Why we know the monks and nuns or even the lay people usually take the vows, monk vows, bhikshu vows, layperson perception, layperson vows. Why we have to take this vow? Why? Any answer? Why, like I'm a monk, as a monk, I have to take a vow. I took the vow, I have to maintain the vow. Why? Someday you can see, the monk is so extreme. Look like someday you can say, oh, so feel sorry about the monk. They cannot go everywhere, they cannot do everything, they cannot eat everything. It looks like they're putting themselves in small person. Right? Yes, I can see when I see some Hindu, like they call sadhu. Somebody has to live in the whole life without any piece of clothes. The weather is hot or cold, what the weather condition doesn't matter, what it look like. They have to stay naked whole life. And there are so many different rules and regulations. When we see this thing, I say, oh, feel sorry, they put themselves in suffering. Of course, many people, generally, because look at the monks and nuns, they put themselves as a prisoner. Right? So, of course, everybody, I think most of you all you took vows, lay perception or lay vows, or maybe, why? What is the reason? Because look at, the vow doesn't look at, for as a monk, not allowed to have a physical relationship with any human being, any sentient beings, physical relationship. Why? The physical relationship happens due to the attachment. Attachment. If you took a vow, I'm not going to have a kind of sexual misconduct, right? Or physical relationship. That means you are just reducing the attachment. Even though in the mind you think, oh, the person, she's so nice, I should have a kind of, but then think, oh, as a monk, I took a vow. That means you're just reducing the anger, attaching arises very strongly, the vow just put it down. After you take your vows, you can reduce the gross or strong level of negative emotions, attachment. Look at the physical relationship have been due to the attachment. Also killing, so not allowed to kill any sentient beings. Of course human beings as well in other sentient, because when you have it's kind of killing things, now it's different situation. Because in the past, yes, if you kill someone, some people, some animal, the motivation you have anger, hatred, right? It's hatred, anger, then you kill some sentient being. That's when they took a vow. I said, no, I'm not going to kill any sentient being. Also reduce the anger. It's like pressing the anger. Then, like stealing also desire or attachment. If you have a strong desire about money, and somebody have a lot of money, there's two different ways I can steal money. One, I just have to say, oh, you are so great, you are so rich, I'm so poor, I don't have money, I have a so problem. You can somebody give you money to me. I look like I'm stealing money. And another way, you just I can just give the money when the people don't see, because this is happened by attachment or desire. If you took a vows not stealing anything, also reducing or press the desire, attachment, the gross level and strong level. Then lying. Lying also look at. Also due to the attachment, due to desire, is happened by any negative emotion. So the main purpose of taking vow is reducing or press the gross level of negative emotion. If you are not able to reduce, not able to press, right? Suppress, then there's no way you can have a good meditation. Because the gross level emotion give you a lot of disturbance.
Okay, Sheila, you suppress it, then you will have a reactions. When you suppress it, you doesn't release, so the tensions will build up. The rebounds is going to be great.
Yes, look at. For example, if somebody got so strong angry, want to fight with someone. If somebody just hold the person,
Back.
and then fall back. Even though anger is so strong, but he cannot fight with the person, he cannot hit the person because the person holds very strongly. But it's not enough, that's what I'm saying, it's not enough. Then I have to be cool down, then I have to think about the consequence of attachment. I have to think about the nature of attachment. Then I can change very slowly, gradually. So in just taking vows, it looks like somebody hold me back behind, not able to fight. Secondly, then practicing is look like then you have to change the anger, attachment, desire with the other methods.
Okay. So what you meant is taking vow is serve as the first guide.
Yeah.
So that is the immediate defense towards the strong emotions.
Yeah.
And then after that, you still have the other parts to fine tune or how to handle the negative emotion.
Yeah, you are right. Exactly right. Even though look at.
So Sila is the first part, and there's a second part about that.
Second part is like wisdom and mindfulness.
Okay.
Wisdom is important. Wisdom, study about the negative emotions. Yeah, that's why the three practice is very important. Shila is the first look like ground, and the wisdom is look like putting lot of cause and condition for the mango trees. But when the mango tree grows, it look like mindfulness. Even though when the mango tree is growing bigger and bigger, but you always have to be you really need to take care until you get the real mango. So take the vows and practice the wisdom, try to develop the mindfulness until you achieve Buddhahood. The main real mango is look like Buddhahood. The trees is look like the mindfulness or practicing. The wisdom, look like the putting a lot of cause and condition for the mango. The Shila is look like ground. Also, as a lay person, you shouldn't think, as a lay person, I cannot take all these vows. It's so difficult. One thing he said very interestingly. He said, look, it's better to take a vows. I'm not going to have a kind of misconduct, physical relationship, except my husband, my life partner, whatever. I should have this relationship with them, not with other people. Even though you have a life partner, you have a husband or whatever even though you have a relationship with others, look at there is create a lot of problem within the families, within the life partner. You don't have to say as a husband, life partner, or Even though in the historically you can see many problems arising. And just say yes, as a lay person, I can just take this vow. I should have a relationship with my life partner or my chosen people, not other people. It's good for point of view of religion. It's good for in general, like a sense, it's good. And stealing is really bad. Lying is very bad. If I steal $10, then yes, everybody know I stole the money from here. The next day somebody lost money here. Oh, they say, oh, he took it. Whole thing belonged to me. So so doesn't matter you tell vows or no. If you steal something, they're going you to bring at the court. Finally, you have to, give the fine. Then like stealing, lying, killing. Of course, killing is very bad. It is naturally, generally, it's very bad. Killing people is also bad. As also killing like fish and other things is not bad because we are taking the life. But this moment there's another big question because many people have a job who work for the seafood. Segregate the fish and the prawn and the fish, all this thing, and they have to kill, they have to pack in order to earn money. This is a big question. Somebody else is good or bad. It's so difficult to say. If there's no option, then they have to do because there's no option. They have to survive. They have to do. But even when they do this kind of job, they don't have to say, "Oh, I have no choice. I'm doing this in order to survive me." In the evening, you just should have kind of regress and do some puja and so and so. This is another, new kind of events in this moment. So, this is kind of taking vow is so important. It's not like ground. So, in order to reduce the cause of dukkha, first there's one level, you have to reduce the gross level or very strong level. Second, you have to reduce the negative from the root. So meditation, the mindfulness is very, very, very important. We are not really lacking of receiving teaching. We are not really lacking of receiving information how to do practice. I think everybody got enough information how to do practice, how to do meditation, how to do mindfulness. So we are lacking of the doing meditation. That's why even as a monk, I've been a monk almost more than 30 years. I don't have much progress about my practice. Because I just studying, reading, and just talking here and there. I don't put enough effort for meditation, for mindfulness. If you spend equal time, 20 minutes study, 20 minutes meditation, 20 minutes kind of chanting, 20 minutes for meditation, within the few years, you can feel, you can see, yes, I have a progress about practice. I am much happier than the last year. He is more happier than the last year. Because when I was Vietnam, there are few people who have been practicing Buddha Dharma, not really seriously. And I said, okay, you must spend equal time. 25 minutes study, analysis, and 25 meditation. Then you will have a result within short time. Then I found, yes, this is the good way. So I tell you how you can reduce the gross level or in the visible emotions thing. The second, how I can reduce the subtle level of emotions. Then I said meditation is so important. There is not just one meditation you can reduce all the negative emotions, but there is one, but as a beginner, it's so difficult. So reducing, or eliminate the negative emotions look like exactly the same as taking medicine, eating medicine, taking medicine. Or when you feel, some kind of sickness, of course you need a medicine. All the medicine is not really relevant with your sickness, right? No. So you have to take the medicine, according to your sickness. If you got headache, you must take headache medicine. If you get some of back pain or somewhere, you just take a kind of the painkiller. If you got some kind of the stomach problem and kind of really loose motion, then you have to take loose motion medicine. All medicine not really helpful the headache. So different sickness has a different medicine. Same, different emotion has different methods, different meditation. As a beginner, first you must check every day before you do meditation in your bedroom or your living room or in the Buddha room, in your car, in your MRT, whatever. You must check. Oh, I must do meditation. First you must check kind of which emotion is stronger in this moment, and which emotion is more disturbing me in this moment. First you need to check yourself. Yes, someday you have a strong anger, yes, someday you have a strong attachment, someday desire, someday disappointment, someday ignorance, someday kind of lonely feel. So different day has a different emotion arising. First you must recognize which is more stronger. If you don't, even though you are be so angry, feel so angry, if you try to practice kind of another one, it won't work because the anger disturbs your practice, your meditation. It's look like someone stay next to you, they really annoying you. First you have to say, oh, you must quiet. Then if there's a good time, you can have a good meditation. In order to have a good meditation, also, of course, environment is very important where you do meditation. You have to switch off your mobile or your whatever, be quiet as a beginner. And after a few months or few years, you don't much, you don't get a lot of distraction from the external, the activities. Be quiet. Be quiet doesn't mean physically quiet. Okay? If you stay in the house, yes, physically it's just not moving, it's very quiet. If your mind is, still keep busy. Still, you're not really quiet. Your mind is not quiet. Your mind is so busy. So you have to be quiet physically, also have to be quiet mentally. What does mean quiet? You have to reduce the stronger negative emotions, stronger thoughts, even not necessarily negative emotion. Because if you have a strong thoughts to go somewhere, if you have a strong thoughts to do something, this also can disturb your meditation. So you have to forget everything. And you do meditation. It's not like just close the door of the mind, which is remembering in the past. You just shut door which you've done in the past. If you don't close in the past, all the memory which you always remembering, then it's also disturbing your practice. Also, you have to close the door. What you need to do for the next, you have to close the two doors. What you've done in the past, what you have to do in the future, just try to live in the present. Okay. Now everybody in the hall, we are away from our family, our activity, our things. You just think I'm here, just fresh person. Just think right now. Then you have to find out which emotion is stronger. Try to reduce. Which thought is strong? You have to reduce. Then finally you can go to the main meditation. Okay, so my main point is, dukkha is suffering. And all the negative emotion, all the positive karma or negative karma also cause of suffering. And also one thing you shouldn't mix, positive karma and the merit. Karma and merit, the meaning is different. Merit. Buddha has a merit. Buddha doesn't have a karma, positive karma, negative karma. His merit, always give the fully pure kind of positive result. The positive karma, look at, we were born as a human being due to the positive karma, right? Due to positive karma. Yeah, we know that my life is that as a human being is the result of positive karma, but we are not fully happy. We are not truly happy. We still face a lot of problem. That means the karma and merit shouldn't mix together. Karma always give you the kind of ultimate kind of happiness, pure happiness, not any kind of suffering. So that's why in order to achieve Buddhahood, enlightenment, you have to accumulate true merit. He said, no, we don't use the true karma, true merit. Merit of wisdom, what's the second one? Merit of merit? True merit.
True accumulation.
Accumulation. One is wisdom, accumulation of merit. Sonam is so, Ishi is so. Second one, I don't know how to translate in English anyway. So you shouldn't mix merit and karma. Okay?
So the other one is resources. Something like resources. Like you have a leisure life, you have good for full faculties, that kind of merits.
Yeah, you can check. Yeah, you can check in the dictionary or online. Is that the Buddhists mention about two types of merit, three types of karma: positive, negative, neutral. So look at within the Four Noble Truths. I said true is the negative side or the samsaric side. True is the positive or the enlightened side. The dukkha and cause of dukkha is the positive side or the samsaric side. So dukkha is just one. We have how many types of dukkha? Three types of dukkha, right? Yeah. Suffering, we call dukkha or suffering of suffering, which is everybody notice suffering. Because the headache, the physical problem, everything we include into suffering of suffering. Right? The second, the changing of suffering. But what is so difficult to understand the changing of suffering as a suffering. For example, this morning the weather is so nice, and now the weather is so hot. This morning we were so happy, we consider this is really happy. We call it changing of suffering. That's why I can say as a samsaric people, we are samsaric people. We are samsara. Until now, we haven't had like the kind of ultimate. We never have an experience of the pure and ultimate happiness. Never. Look at when we feel hungry, we feel so. We are suffering. We are suffer, right? We are not happy. This suffering. When you eat good food, at the moment you feel so happy. Oh, now I'm so happy. We recognize this is really happy. If you just keep eating this kind of food, half hours, then you feel, oh, I can't eat. The food is not that good, right? That means we don't have any experience of ultimate or pure happiness. What we consider happiness, all of them is suffering. According to Buddhism, we call changing of suffering.
Suffering of change.
Suffering of change. Look at within the 24 hours we are living, just changing and changing and changing. Happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy. That's why as a Buddhist, as Buddhism, according to Buddhism, we maybe some of you, but as a me, I never ever have a experience of ultimate and pure happiness. So this is called suffering of changes. The final one, another before I move this one, look at even though the non-Buddhist, even though cow, the animals, the dogs and cats and fish, everybody they have a experience about suffering of suffering. They really want to avoid the suffering of suffering. Right? Look at if you leave the dog in the hot sun, they move to the shadow. Right? That means look at all animals can understand the suffering of suffering. And they really want to avoid the suffering. They are looking happiness, which is able to avoid the suffering. It's nothing unique of human being. all sentient beings can have a experience of suffering. Also, they have a strong wishing to, be happiness, that level of happiness. As a human being, we can understand that suffering is not good, and I really want to avoid. But as a human being, as a normal human being, so difficult to understand the suffering of changing is kind of suffering. That's why, since we're born, we have been doing this thing. Look at, very interesting. I mean, everybody feel is very interesting. As a monk, before I finished Geshe's degree, before I received Geshe degree, I was so excited to have a Geshe degree. I thought after I become Geshe, I will be very happy. So before I became Geshe, I was so busy, I felt so difficult. Receive Geshe degree, it said just piece of paper, nothing. I really be happy.
So you're not happy after you get a Geshe?
Nothing.
No, you're not happy? Are you not happy?
And that reason. Look at, when somebody give you a certificate, at that moment you are so happy, but just receive a certificate, you're not going to get a job, right? Right?
Yeah.
Then I finished my university, I have a certificate, now I have to find a job. You're going to pick certificate until it became quite old, showing everywhere. This is my diploma, get a job. Face enough, job. And you have a certificate, you have a job, then you are not really happy with the salary. Then, okay, sometimes you got good salary, then you're not happy with your neighbors, your co-workers, something, then you think about our family. Then children. Then you have to consider about children, and children graduate, children separate, children job. Look at how whole life, we have been with this thing, we experience that most time we experience suffering of changing. The last one, also even though the Hindu, like a Hindu practitioner, non-Buddhist people can recognize, suffering, changing of suffering. But they don't recognize the pervasive suffering. The dukkha. If you think about the dukkha in the physical body, all the facility which is around us is for the dukkha, right? I got the dukkha. This get hot. We are not happy. I got. We need a shelter because of dukkha. We need a clothes because of dukkha. We need a food because of dukkha. I think 99% all the facilities for what? For the physical body. And we should look this way, very interesting. So we really don't know why we buy this thing, why we have this thing. We never think this is need for the dukkha. You must think dukkha needs so many things. Unless you have a dukkha, you never ever be fully happy. Another way you look where you are happy, or then this way you are facing problem, suffering. So there was also dukkha. So dukkha is also one important. Dukkha is the kind of the root of kind of all suffering, which is we face. And dukkha arising, or we have a dukkha due to the karmic karma, positive or negative karma. We have a karma because we have the negative emotions. We have a negative emotion because we have ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance, it doesn't understand the reality. We don't understand the reality. We have a lot of confusion about reality.
Sheila, very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
This is very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So you said pervasive suffering, that means suffering is everywhere, that no one can escape. So for example, you say you quote the word cold and hot. So in Singapore, the worst thing that we experience is hot.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that the hot is everywhere, is pervasive. So which is why you build a shelter, you build a home, you have an AC, because to run an AC you need electricity. So everything is surrounded to get rid of the dukkha.
Physical
Suffering. At the same time you say that suffering is due to ignorance, not seeing the reality as it is. So are you saying that hot
mm-hmm.
is because of ignorance? So if I were to know the nature of hot, then I will not have a suffering. But for example, a shelter, to shelter us from the sun. So the hot is suffering. So if I understand that hot is just my misperceptions and I understand that I can't stay under the sun or not take shelter because I will die.
No,
So
I think
knowing, eliminating ignorance in this sense of hotness, and it will not eliminate the suffering because I will just die if I don't take shelter.
yeah, I'm not saying the sun, everything is kind of the pervasive suffering. So we have a pervasive suffering which is the dukkha. Dukkha is the pervasive suffering. We pervasive in this kind of physical body. Every sentient being has other physical body. Due to the physical body, we need so many facilities. All the facility which we have is for the overcome suffering of physical body. So if you don't have this kind of dukkha, you don't need a shelter and a house and food and clothes. Right?
Yeah.
So dukkha is the source of suffering. So we have to eliminate the dukkha. So it is not enough just take a suicide. So we have to eliminate this dukkha. How? Then we have to if this dukkha, I cannot eliminate this moment dukkha. You already have a. Second, we have to eliminate the dukkha which is we going to take in the next life. So look, we already have a physical body. So there is another chance you're going to give another like a dukkha in next life. So we have to abandon the dukkha which you're going to take in the next life, the next afterlife. This we can only eliminate through reducing the karma, or through reducing the motivation or the negative emotion. It's because these are the cause of the dukkha, next dukkha. So dukkha is a kind of the basis of suffering. We have to eliminate dukkha. In order to eliminate dukkha, we have to eliminate the negative emotion and the karma. So further, we have to eliminate the ignorance. If you're able to eliminate ignorance, then there's no more ignorance about the reality. If there's no more ignorance about the reality, then there's no more negative emotions. If there's no more negative emotion, then there's no more action, karma, body, mind, speech. Which when your action, you get the right action, right speech, right thoughts. So I think today we just stop here.
Are we going to meditate?
Yeah. So we have half hour, right?
Yes.
10:30. There is some more 12.
Yeah. Yesterday you announced that you're going to give instructions on the meditation, and we do a meditation.
Okay. So we have I'm sorry if you are supposed to stop like at 11:30. It's over. So okay, I mentioned the meditation is so important. So we should have a short-term meditation. So I mentioned first we among the group you have a different emotion. First we check which emotion is stronger. If you feel the anger is really stronger with me, then we should focus the person you just focus the person which you have anger towards the person, and just think about the person and think about the person is not really bad. This negative emotion is bad. You just start to develop compassion. Then you don't have a meditation today, so tomorrow definitely let me know when you finish like 1 hour. So next time we have a longer meditation session.
Right.
So please decide so much.